Welcome. Today we will be reading Lesson 40 in the workbook and from the text, Chapter 5, Section 2, The Voice for God, paragraphs 1 through 6. And now for Lesson 40. I am blessed as a son of God. Today we will begin to assert some of the happy things to which you are entitled, being what you are. No long practice periods are required today, but very frequent short ones are necessary. Once every 10 minutes would be highly desirable, and you are urged to attempt this schedule and to adhere to it whenever possible. If you forget, try again. If there are long interruptions, try again. Whenever you remember, try again. You need not close your eyes for the exercise periods, although you will probably find it more helpful if you do. However, you may be in a number of situations during the day when closing your eyes would not be feasible. Do not miss a practice period because of this. You can practice quite well under any circumstances if you really want to. Today's exercises take little time and no effort. Repeat the idea for today and then add several of the attributes you associate with being a son of God, applying them to yourself. One practice period might, for example, consist of the following. I am blessed as a son of God. I am happy, peaceful, loving, and contented. Another might take this form. I am blessed as a son of God. I am calm, quiet, assured, and confident. If only a brief period is available, merely telling yourself that you are blessed as a son of God will do. In being asked to repeat today's idea every 10 minutes throughout the day, one is quickly shown how easily distracted one's mind is. And then when this occurs, one is simply asked to try again, without any judgment upon oneself. To say I am blessed is contrary to how one actually feels when any unloving thoughts occur within one's mind. And thus it is corrective in nature to any fearful thoughts that arise during the day. For when one is upset, anxious, or worried, one does not feel blessed. Repeating I am blessed as a son of God thus serves like a mantra, whose repetitive sounds or words are an aid in focusing one's mind. One's blessedness has nothing to do with what one has done, fought or achieved, but is one's birthright by what one is, as a creation of love itself. And now for our text reading for today, from chapter 5, section 2, The Voice for God, paragraphs 1 through 6. Healing is not creating, it is reparation. The Holy Spirit promotes healing by looking beyond it to what the children of God were before healing was needed, and will be when they have been healed. This alteration of the time sequence should be quite familiar, because it is very similar to the shift in the perception of time that the miracle introduces. The Holy Spirit is the motivation for miracle-mindedness, the decision to heal the separation by letting it go. Your will is still in you, because God placed it in your mind. And although you can keep it asleep, you cannot obliterate it. God Himself keeps your will alive by transmitting it from His mind to yours, as long as there is time. The miracle itself is a reflection of this union of will between Father and Son. The Holy Spirit is the Spirit of joy. He is the call to return with which God blessed the minds of His separated sons. This is the vocation of the mind. The mind had no calling until the separation, because before that it had only being, and would not have understood the call to right thinking. The Holy Spirit is God's answer to the separation, the means by which the atonement heals until the whole mind returns to creating. The principle of atonement and the separation began at the same time. When the ego was made, God placed in the mind the call to joy. This call is so strong that the ego always dissolves at its sound. That is why you must choose to hear one of two voices within you. One you made yourself, and that one is not of God. But the other is given you by God, who asked you only to listen to it. The Holy Spirit is in you in a very literal sense. His is the voice that calls you back to where you were before, and will be again. It is possible, even in this world, to hear only that voice and no other. It takes effort and great willingness to learn. It is the final lesson that I learned, and God's sons are as equal as learners as they are as sons. You are the kingdom of heaven, but you have let the belief in darkness enter your mind, and so you need a new light. The Holy Spirit is the radiance that you must let banish the idea of darkness. His is the glory before which dissociation falls away, and the kingdom of heaven breaks through into its own. Before the separation, you did not need guidance. You knew as you will know again, but as you do not know now. God does not guide because he can share only perfect knowledge. Guidance is evaluative because it implies there is a right way and also a wrong way, one to be chosen and the other to be avoided. By choosing one, you give up the other. The choice for the Holy Spirit is the choice for God. God is not in you in a literal sense. You are part of him. When you chose to leave him, he gave you a voice to speak for him, because he could no longer share his knowledge with you without hindrance. Direct communication was broken because you had made another voice. The Holy Spirit calls you both to remember and to forget. You have chosen to be in a state of opposition, in which opposites are possible. As a result, there are choices you must make. In the holy state, the will is free, so that its creative power is unlimited and choice is meaningless. Freedom to choose is the same power as freedom to create, but its application is different. Choosing depends on a split mind. The Holy Spirit is one way of choosing. God did not leave his children comfortless, even though they chose to leave him. The voice they put in their minds was not the voice for his will, for which the Holy Spirit speaks. In this section, the Holy Spirit's role in healing is discussed. The Holy Spirit is love's answer to the separation. It is the voice of love to counter the ego's voice of fear that one has made. Choosing between these two voices reveals that one has a split mind. The Holy Spirit is the irresistible call to joy, for one's true will is to be happy, which one shares with the will of love. In the separation, one's direct communication with one's source was broken, and the Holy Spirit serves as one's comforter and guide until one's return has been accomplished. The Holy Spirit's joyful radiance provides the light that removes one's ideas of separation, which only serve to block one's way back home. It is a call to right thinking, and it is the learning of true perception.